So food shaming, body shaming, it kind of goes hand in hand, and I just wanted to have a wee casual chat today. More of my observations about food shaming and body shaming. We all make comments about people and we sometimes mean it, and sometimes it is purely just a reflection of what's going on in our minds at that point in time. So I've got two little stories of my own about food shaming and how it sort of affected me at the time, and how I've sort of learnt to sort of combat these things that happen and move on in a more positive way. So way back, gosh, we're probably talking about almost 20 years ago, I started to clean eat. I did a program called Body for Life, which was a bodybuilding program, and it taught you how to clean eat and eat for a way that was great for energy. So eating smaller meals throughout the day, 6 meals a day, to give you the energy for your quite aggressive bodybuilding type exercises. And it was the first time I'd eaten like this, and I was coming from a background of eating really badly. Like, I lived off pizza, beer, all the junk food. And I got to admit, I felt pretty awesome about it. And all my friends always used to say to me, Alex, you eat whatever you want, you look so good, and it's so sexy, it's so confident. And I was like, yeah, I own this. And I went on eating like this, and it got to a point where I couldn't get away with it anymore. And I was starting to put on weight, I was starting to feel really bad, and I thought it's time to start moving in a different direction. So this is why I started Body for Life. And what happened was that from all the clean eating, I started craving. And so what I would do is I would start making little concoctions out of protein powders and things that were on the good list of foods, so the veggies, the fruits, and I would make little puddings because I had a sweet tooth. And I discovered that people objected to this. They were really upset that I was sort of destroying their perception of me, which was the junk food eating, fun-loving girl, and I was suddenly eating different, and they didn't like it. And they would make fun of me for making these little clean eating puddings. Now, this is back way before anyone had started eating in this way. And I felt ashamed. I felt really bad about myself, and I thought there's something wrong with me. I shouldn't be eating like this. So I would hide it. I would hide the fact that I was making these little puddings out of, cocoa powder, and back then stevia wasn't so much of a thing, so it was sweeteners, which probably weren't so good, but I was learning. I was going through a little bit of a food journey, and I was made to feel really bad about it. I mean, if I had actually run with that, I could be a millionaire by now. Can you imagine if I'd sort of started making bliss balls back then and selling them? But I don't think the world was ready for it. Now, fast forward a few years, and I was doing bodybuilding again, competing, and I was eating in a certain way, which again, people didn't really like. And they would make comments about what I'm eating, if it was my boiled chicken or my broccoli or any kind of salad. I would eat boiled eggs, and of course they stank. I would eat fish, and that stank. And so here I was trying to hide this food in the work cafeteria. And of course you can't hide that smell from no one. And again, I felt ashamed because every day someone would make a comment, and I started hiding when I was eating. That's how bad it got, because I felt so awful. And I think what people need to understand is that when they make comments about what you're eating or what another person's eating, is they're actually making comments about that person's life choices, goals, the way they like to live their life. And I think we need to just sort of take a step back, before we make these comments, and just understand how we are, in fact, imprinting our own fears, thoughts on that person, and making them feel bad, when in actual fact, it comes back to us, you know, and we'll probably say these things because maybe we're jealous, we're envious of that person's determination and willpower. We're jealous of that person's want to eat good, nutritious, healthy foods. Maybe we just think it's funny, which, hey, sometimes it is. But if you're the perp, you're the person who likes to make comments about what people are eating or the way someone looks, then I challenge you just to sort of take a step back, think twice about why you're going to say it. Is it because you think it's funny, or is it because you're feeling envious, or you're feeling annoyed because something or whatever that person's doing is conjuring up an emotion in you which you don't quite know what to do with? So therefore you say something that's not particularly nice to make you feel better. It's not about it's not about that person, is it? It's about making you feel better. I find myself doing it all the time. When I'm watching the E! Channel, I'll make comments about the actresses and what they're wearing and how their bodies look, and I always have to smack myself in the wrist and say, you know, where is your head at today? Because it always comes back to us. So what do you do if someone is food shaming you a lot? If you're at school and you find that people are making comments about what you're eating, I think the best thing to do is say nothing. And you might say, okay, well that just looks like that's just weak, you know. A bully, someone who's being bullied is not going to positively stand up for themselves by saying nothing. But if you look at that person, you hold your ground, you look them right in the eye with a look that says, I am not going to dignify what you just said with an answer because it is so ridiculous. And you can even stand up and walk away if you want. But that is far more powerful than you firing back some insult, because it makes you, again, a hypocrite, and it makes you indirectly a food shamer. If you say, well, at least I didn't eat 150 calories, chemicals or calories in that pizza, you're then directly food shaming them. So I think sometimes saying nothing is far more powerful than firing back something, which, you know, it will feel good to you for about 5 seconds, but it doesn't make you a better person. Another thing to think about is, why is that person eating that way? I mean, there could be an abundance of reasons, from religion to maybe they're just an extremely active person and they've got the hangries, and, you know, you could lay down a gumboot and put some hummus on it and they'd eat it. You just don't know. And the sad truth is that, and it's becoming all too common, is that a lot of young people have disordered eating. And so you saying something to them could make that disordered eating 10 times worse. The way that disordered eating works is generally the way that someone eats is a side effect of what's really going on. For a lot of people, it's about control, and they feel that the one thing they can control in their life is the food they put in their body. It could be emotional, so if they're anxious, scared, nervous, unhappy, they eat. So you talking negatively to them about the food that they are in fact putting in their bodies is just going to escalate everything that's going on in their mind. My advice is that if you are genuinely concerned about someone you know and their eating, I would say to approach it from a very gentle direction. Instead of singling them out in front of people and making them feel bad about the way they're eating, I would encourage them by giving them examples of someone that you know who has sought help and now is a lot better because of it, or for that. That would be a heap better than singling them out and making their food issue a thing, particularly in front of people. It just, honestly, it'll make them dislike you more, and it'll make them turn to their eating disorder even more so. Perhaps start a conversation in your own mind about what's actually going on for you personally if you say comments to people about their body or the food they eat. And hopefully turn this sort of cycle around a bit. Can you imagine if all we ever did was say nice things to people? Life would be a bit bland. But if perhaps we can maybe start saying 80% more positive and 20% negative, then things might start feeling a bit better for you, your friends and your family. Think twice next time you open your mouth, and stand your ground if somebody says something nasty to you the next time that you're eating. Thanks.